The essence of body psychotherapy. In this video, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the body psychotherapy tradition, and I'm going to show you an exercise that you can do to give yourself a taste for this modality, and you might also find it useful with respect to body-mind integration or body-mind harmony, if you prefer. The body psychotherapy tradition was founded by Wilhelm Reich. Wilhelm Reich was a student of Freud's. He was interested in Freud's work, had some contact with Freud, and eventually became interested in the question of how does the Freudian mechanism of repression actually occur on a physical level. Now, this may be a little bit of an oversimplification, but the Reich started studying kind of breathing patterns of the musculature, and began working with patients in a somatic way. Somatic just meaning basically the body as experienced from the inside. Would have patients do certain kinds of breathing exercises and other kinds of things using the body. And since that time, which was about 100 years ago, the body psychotherapy tradition has evolved. There's been various people along the way have moved the movement forward, but the essence of the modality, in my view, is encapsulated in a technique that I'm going to show you that we could call tension exaggeration. And now there's a lot of different ways to work somatically with people in psychotherapy, but this one exercise, I think, says quite a lot about the modality, and I think can be very useful in different ways. So the way it works is you're going to locate some uncomfortable tension in the body, assuming there is one there. But unless you're perfectly psychosomatically integrated, you'll probably be able to find some kind of at least slightly uncomfortable tension in the body. And then you're going to exaggerate that tension. So what that means is you'll contract the muscles in the general area of that tension. It doesn't need to be precise, but you're going to contract those muscles more than they're already contracted. So maybe by 10, 20, 30%. You contract them that much more. And then you just hold that for maybe 20, 30, 40 seconds and just observe. And for a very simple version of this exercise, you could just leave it at that. You just contract those muscles for about 30, 40 seconds, watch, and then let it go and move on. And if you were to do that daily as a practice, that itself can have a nice effect with respect to mind-body integration. But if you want to take the exercise a step further, and this is what you could say where it really kind of gets interesting, you would add another step, which is while you're contracting those muscles, after a little bit, you ask the question, what might I be doing? Or another version of the question would be, as if to do what? And so now you're looking to see if anything kind of comes into your mind as a kind of way to understand what this contraction might actually be. And so one way to think of it is if you were to exaggerate the tensions quite a bit, what would be the posture you'd be in? And then how could you make sense of that? Now, sometimes when I'm doing this exercise with a client, I'll say, let's say that you're a character in a kind of a comic strip scene, or a comic book scene. What's going on in that scene? Where are you? And what are you doing? And so this is to evoke, the imagination. So it may be that, I'm on a bench waiting for a bus and it's cold outside. Or it might be I'm in the woods hiding from a dragon, right? The imagination can come up with all sorts of different things. But they're looking to see if there's anything that kind of makes sense of the tension, what you might be doing. I'm getting prepared to run, or I'm wanting to lift something, right? Or I'm trying to hold back tears, right? Or I'm trying to hold back punching somebody. You just see what comes to you. And if nothing comes, don't worry about it. You can just kind of move on. But it may be that something kind of comes to your mind that's kind of makes sense of what this tension is. And if you do this exercise repeatedly, it can be a very good way to kind of integrate the mind and the body. Now, the way to understand why this exercise works is because what it's doing is it's reconnecting the conscious and the unconscious minds. An uncomfortable tension in the body, we could say, is like a form of unconsciousness, right? This is muscle contractions, and you don't know why you're contracting those muscles. And so by exaggerating the tension, you're now contracting the muscles consciously in addition to unconsciously. And that creates the possibility of aligning the conscious and unconscious mind. Again, when we ask, what might I be doing? What comes into the mind may be coming from the context of the unconscious purpose of that tension. It could be that there's a defensive purpose. It could be that there's an expressive but blocked purpose. It could be that there's a physical purpose that's wanting to emerge, but is hidden in unconsciousness. And so by doing this exercise, you can find out what's going on through the lens of the body. Okay, so I hope you find this simple introduction to body psychotherapy useful and interesting, and I'll be back with more soon.